After 2,050 kilometres of driving, we arrive in Alice Springs. But what's there to get up to? First up, clean all the red dirt and accumulated mud out of the vehicle. But at this point we noticed that something was not where it should be. The bolt securing the diode splitter for the dual battery system had gone completely missing, and it was floating loose in the front of the vehicle. Fortunately, it had not hit anything critical. However, we were careful to include fuses in the wiring for this that would have blown if it short-circuited. We replaced the bolt and continued on for lunch. Heading up Antje Anzac Hill, there's a panoramic view of Alice Springs with plaques to commemorate the wars Australia has fought in. After that, we headed to the hotel, meeting our mortal enemy, the unsignposted clearance. The following morning, dropping the Land Cruiser off for a much-needed wheel alignment, we walked over to the Alice Springs Reptile Centre, and it certainly lived up to its name. A number of snakes, some venomous, some not so much. A couple of lizards as well. And of course, the adorable thorny devil. And out the back, a massive saltwater crocodile, lying there in wait for a tourist to climb into the enclosure.
This here is Twix. Now, obviously, you can see the Twix here, as I was saying, is one of our blueies. It's got that nice bright blue tongue that is sticking out just here. We're going for enclosed shoes, long pants. If you're walking on the trails, if you're going around the telegraph station, that sort of stuff, more than happy, if you're wearing your shorts and your runners, that sort of stuff, have a look around, just make sure you can see the ground around you. But the moment you go on trail, you need to be wearing enclosed shoes and long pants. And that's why we use compression bandages. We've all seen one of these compression bandages before. This is Ziggy. Ziggy's one of our bigger boys here. He's a nice cuddly one also as well. He likes to wrap around straight away and get a nice one.
While having a snake climb all over you is one thing, we wanted something a little more radio related. HF radio has been part of the Outback pretty much since it was invented, so we picked up the Land Cruiser, now with aligned wheels, and the next destination was obvious. There's certainly some radio equipment on display here, but it does exist devoid of any context or explanation.
We had the Wiggles in here with a couple of their mates, some bloke with a feather sword and a lady dressed in green called Dorothy.
In their unit of work, a little packet of microwave popcorn, and they were instructed to make their popcorn at home before the lesson, so they all had their bowls of popcorn at home too, and were eating while we did our lesson together in popcorn.
We're sharing kilometres from Alice Springs along the Tanami Highway. Anybody know the Tanami Highway?
But with the advances in technology, it's now all done over the internet. As it should be, of course, but the history was just kind of forgotten. Because that's an X2, which is basically a 9323 with most of the bits missing.
The one token Barrett.
Only two kids on air could not make out what they were saying at all. Cancelled. Not good on channel 1, lots of static. 23.8/2000, that was near the peak of a sunspot cycle, so I can see why.
Somewhere around 60 metres, somewhere a bit above 40 metres, during the middle of the day, at a high in the sunspot cycle. Shame they didn't have a higher frequency to try, say around 30 meters or 10 megahertz. Probably would have worked a lot better for them. This prediction, although it can be somewhat optimistic at times, shows some fairly severe fading during the middle of the day on the 5 MHz signal seen here in red, and although not as bad on the 8 MHz signal, real-world coverage would likely not be this good, especially with the kind of modest setups that would have been in use. The 10 MHz signal in green maintains better coverage until the very end of the day, but that increased footprint of coverage does carry with it the risk of more interference. But the thing is, a lot of these radios didn't initially exist for school on the air. Adelaide Miethkel, a school inspector who travelled to Alice Springs in 1944 while visiting remote cattle stations, approached John Flynn, founder of the Royal Flying Doctor Service, for permission to trial the use of the radio system for educational purposes, as it was currently used only in emergencies but sat idle the rest of the time. So let's see what the RFDS has to say about things.
L-Track, can't escape it.
After buying a ticket and watching a 20-minute ad encouraging us to give more money to the RFDS, not that I disagree of course, they do amazing work and they're chronically underfunded. There's a small museum full of a few more Codan 6924s and other bits, medical supplies, and a gift shop full of merchandise with slightly suspect quality control. But nothing much on radio here either. Aufträger's legacy almost completely forgotten. I'm not surprised, but on the other hand, it's not exactly ancient history. The RFDS can still be summoned over HF radio to this day. So after that, we headed to the shops to grab some supplies for tomorrow, where we'll head off early to our next destination. What is it? Well, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss it, and see you next time.